why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech?
First of all, I'm doing the Zoom on analysis of the apology, so-called apology of Will Smith for the slap he gave Chris Rock about 3 months ago at the Oscars. To begin with, he has a text that appears on the screen before he even comes into frame. And the text says, "It's been a minute. Over the last few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking and personal work." Okay, so you're telling us that you have changed and you're becoming a better person. That's what you're trying to do by having that before you even go into showing your face. Will Smith, I'm talking about. You asked a lot of fair questions that I wanted to take some time to answer. You asked a lot of fair questions that I wanted to take some time to answer. So he's playing the good guy. He's saying all the right things that he thinks the people want to hear, trying to make the apology seem authentic, very polite, all of the things that the slap did not have. I also have to be aware of the noise that's going on outside, surroundings. So for actors, that's why it's really good to practice your rehearsals, your roles in different circumstances and different spaces, because they will give you so much more to work with and so many other things to be attentive to. And it will help you in discovering more of the everyday life of the character. It's been a minute. Over the last few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking and personal work. Thank you, Will Smith, for saying that. That is so sweet of you. Bravo. I'm joking. You asked. I hear so many people on television saying, I asked. Why do people mispronounce asked? They say, I asked. I don't understand, because the A is followed by the S and the KED. So I don't understand why people say it. I asked. I heard it from lawyers on all these true crime channels that I watch and everything else. I think this is going to be too much with the sound, but you asked. No, you asked a lot of fair questions that I wanted to take some time to answer. So you needed 3 months to be able to come with an apology, to formulate the apology. If you really are sincere, even before I see your face, if you really are sincere, you would have come to apologize. You don't need the 3 months to think about how to become a better person. That's an instinctual need to apologize that a decent human being would have. So the 3 months in between the preparation time, weird.
Why?
Before he even says the first word, he reminds me so much of what Amber Heard was doing the whole time when I was analyzing the videos from the trial when she was testifying, and videos that she has on other platforms that were being analyzed by other people. She sighs. When do we sigh? I'm asking you, when do you sigh? Think about the times that you sigh. We sigh when there is some difficulty going on with us in the way that we proceed with something. We sigh because we want to hold back something that we want to do or something that we want to say. And I think that sighing is giving his power away, but it's also a revealing into his soul. That's my opinion again, about the fact that he's having a hard time apologizing. I don't think he wants to do this. I think the reason why he's doing this is because he feels that it's the right thing to do for him to be able to be liked by the audiences so he can go on with his career. I think he's also promoting a new movie that's coming out. I don't feel that there's any authenticity, any kind of sincerity to his beginning. The text makes no sense that he would have to put that on before he even came into frame. I gotta do this. Imagine if I came into frame and I did this. What would that mean? What would that tell you about me? What would you think about me? Would you think that I'm really eager to do this video, or would you think that I really am frustrated because I have to do it, or I'm frustrated for some other reason? Let me know.
Didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech?
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? What is that? Where is that diction? Where is that weird, forceful diction coming from? I don't get it. Where's it coming from? Doesn't make sense. Makes no freaking sense to me, because he already knows the questions. You prepared for 3 months, you said, in order to come and give us the better you in apologizing to Chris. So when you're reading this question, you do not have to read it in a way that sounds like we are idiots watching, and you have to over pronounce it. Just say it. Why did I not apologize to Chris in my acceptance speech? The acceptance speech that he won for King Richard, which I don't think he should have won. I don't think his performance was complex. I don't think it was dynamic. I think he was imitating a real person because he was playing a real person. It was the father of the 2 tennis players. I forget their names. I thought it was very the same throughout. I didn't see any kind of surprises in his performance. I didn't see any kind of truth, to be honest. I thought that he was imitating good acting. He was imitating good acting. He wasn't allowing himself to actually come up with something that was originally his, that he could then breathe into the character. He didn't let the character crawl under his skin. He was imitating a real human being, and he was imitating good acting, but that's not what truthful acting is. So I don't think that he should have won the Oscar. This is so annoying with the noise. Even though I have to accept that, I'm going to reveal to you that it's very annoying, that I'm not sure how this is going to sound. So if I'm not gonna be honest, I'm gonna stay the same way that I was before all these freaking cars and motorcycles were going by, and pretend that I'm okay with it. I'm not. I wanted to do this episode. I wanted to do this video. And now it's annoying me because there's so much traffic in this particular day. That's a real personal human expression. Let's go back to his overacting, over pronouncing. Hello, Will Smith. We are smart people. It's okay. You can just sit back in the chair. You don't have to lean forward like this. You're leaning forward as if you're ready to pounce. Are you ready to pounce again? Or are you ready to slap again? Which one is it? Relax. Sit back in the chair like I am right now, watching the cars going by, being annoyed about it, but just sit back and just tell the world, without having practiced for so long, how is it that you really truly feel, honestly? Why don't you do that? Why are you so rigorously prepared for this? And why are you holding your mouth like this? Why are you holding your mouth like this? Tension, muscle, mouth, tension. Let it go. Now, do some exercises, release the jaw, blah, 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 blah.
I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you,
I will say to you, yes. Okay.
Chris,
I am not mocking him. This is just my observation, and these are my opinions from an acting coach, from an acting perspective. I'm doing analysis, my personal opinions. I cannot guarantee. I do not have any kind of power to read somebody's mind in how they're actually feeling. But I can tell you what human behavior is, because I've been analyzing and I've been observing human behavior for a long time. He has prepared for 3 months and then he's coming here and he still has a hard time to say what he just said, that he's been trying to reach out to Chris Rock. I've been trying to reach out to Chris Rock. Pause. You don't have to go, He can't even clearly say the words without mispronouncing them, without over enunciating them. When he's trying to let himself be a little bit more relaxed, like he was trying right now with saying, I tried to reach out to Chris Rock and he's not ready to accept my apology. You can relax in the pause, sit in that pause. If you have nothing to fear, if you do not concern yourself with the result and the task and the objective that you're trying to get out of this, which is to please people. If you're doing it because you're trying to please people for your own gain, to be able to be a box office hit and make a lot of money doing films, then that's how you behave like you are right now. But if it's just a real, honest apology because you've wronged someone, you physically abused someone, then you can sit back, leave yourself alone, tap into that part of you that's really honest from where you want to apologize from. Take your time doing it without mispronouncing everything and without not even being able to say a word correctly and going, you have to think what you want to say. You still have to think. I thought you needed 3 months to be able to prepare. Which one is it? Confusing, even now, confusing.
I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. And this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances. And
how can you be in a fog when this moment happened? I want to apologize to you. Why are you going like this? I want to apologize to you. Are you going like this because you want to shake his hand? Are you going like this because you're pointing him out as if we don't know who he is? I want to apologize to you. And then you don't know what to do with your hand. It stays in the air. Is it because the gesture came out of nowhere? Was it instinctual? Are you watching it? Do you know how to resolve this fully, to physically finish the gesture that you began by going like this? Everything about this is so completely awkward. I'm so sorry to say this because I understand that people make mistakes, but people make mistakes and they don't need the 3 months to prepare to apologize for their mistakes. To do such a horrible thing, to slap Chris Rock, a comedian, for making a joke, which everybody knows is what happens at these gatherings, at the award shows. And then to have the opportunity, when you received the Oscar, which you did not merit, because there were so many other wonderful performances in that category. So going back to people who are voting, who have no idea what holy acting, truthful acting is, to give you the Oscar. You didn't have enough time between the slap to realize all of the things that now you are saying with so much false behind it. How could you not? You had enough time before you went and you received the Oscar and gave your speech. And in the speech, you continued to make excuses for what you had done. You continued to blame him by saying things like, oh, you could only take so much about things with other people trying to do bad to you and your family and blah, blah, blah. Instead of being in that moment of appreciation and realizing how many people are out there who will give anything to be in your place, you couldn't even in that godly moment of receiving this amazing gift to have put you in the circumstance, to have put you on that stage. You didn't realize the horrible physical thing that you've done to another human being. And you're apologizing to his mom and all the people who are in Chris Rock's life. How would you not know that? How old are you? How would you not know that if you are physically slapping someone, abusing another person in front of, it doesn't matter, in front of people, behind closed doors, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. Even worse for somebody like you, who was fortunate enough in life to be where you are on that stage and to not appreciate that moment and to become so small to do what you did. And then you consider the fact that he has people and now you're apologizing to them after 3 months and you're still not doing it well. Why aren't you doing it well? Did you have anybody help you with it? Or did you think that it's not necessary because you're only doing it for your sake?
Complexities of what happened in that moment. And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of
the complexities that happen in that moment, that's like a fog that you were in a fog about. What about those complexity that you now speak about? Why did you not bring those to the role you played for the one you received the Oscar you did not deserve? What about the complexities there? If you would have taken the complexities to build that character, to make that character a human being that's not an imitation of a human being, maybe those complexities would have been let go out of you. They would have been released. You wouldn't have had all the anger and all the built up to get up on stage and to walk as if you were the man, and without any kind of reason, you slapped another person badly. The sound, it still triggers me when I hear that slap. It triggers me because I've been part of abuse in my life. So it still triggers me right now. You can see it changes my face. My face just changed when I took a moment to just relive that. That sound. Complexities of the moment. You're still finding complexities with the moment. You're still regarding the moment as if it was something justifiable.
There is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults.
There's no part of me that thinks that was the best way, that was the optimal way to resolve that moment. There's no part of me. You are denying what you did because you say there's no part of you. Well, there is a part of you because that part of you was brought to light. That part of you that you do not accept to have, where that horrible behavior comes out of, everyone has. So for you denying that part of you, it means that you're not taking responsibility for your fullness as a human being, as a person. Who can say they have not done wrong? Everybody's done wrong. Accept it. Don't keep on denying it. Well, there had to be a part of you that thought that was okay because you did it. Nobody else was puppeting you around. There was a part of you that you have to accept. That's the one that you have to look deep down within if you want an apology to be original, because you have to recognize that part of you that you say you don't have. How are these people so famous? How are these people surrounded by their PR teams and all the other people that surround them, and assistants and advisors and so-called experts, and they don't know They don't even know how to help somebody portray a true apology. Wow.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. Yes. She didn't have to tell you anything because the rolling of the eyes was already she saying something. You laughed when Chris Rock first made the joke. You laughed. It's on camera. It is on camera. And then you turned and you looked at Jada, and then she rolled her eyes, and then your laughter, your smile was gone. And you decided to get up. You pulled up your big man's pants, and you went for it, approaching this comedian who was there to do his job without having any knowledge of what was going to happen. He actually was in a position where I felt for him because he was afraid. I felt Chris was afraid. It would be the same as if I'm walking down the street and all of a sudden I see somebody come towards me with somewhat of a speed, knowing that he's not supposed to be coming towards me. Do I stay? Do I leave? Fear would take over my entire being. No, she didn't say anything. No. And I'm moving my body for this too, right? Because you want to sound convincing. You're not convincing me.
It's like,
It's
you know,
like,
I made a choice on my own
I made
from
a choice.
my own experiences,
Yeah,
from
sure.
my
So why are you not saying
history
this
with
in a way
Chris.
that's straight?
Jada had nothing to do with it.
It had nothing
I'm
to do
sorry,
with it.
babe.
I'm sorry, babe.
And say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us.
You're still apologizing to Jada. You're here to apologize for your behavior to another human being, Chris Rock. You're still taking more time and you're focusing more on apologizing to Jada. I don't know what that relationship is like, and it's none of my business, but it's just not credible what you're saying. It's not credible at all because you're still concerned about Jada's feelings over Chris Rock's feelings, in my opinion. You're sorry for your kids, you're sorry to your kids, you're apologizing to that. I can understand. It's just not believable.
To all my fellow nominees, you know, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me. And it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished.
I think you should apologize for the fact that you won. You shouldn't apologize only because you've behaved the way that you did, which is the first thing that you should do. But the second one is you should apologize to your fellow nominees for taking an Oscar, whoever voted. You're right. You should apologize to them and you should say you've made a mistake. You have made a mistake to have given me the Oscar because I did not deserve it. Even before the slap, I did not deserve it. If you were to go back and look at the performance that he did, there are ingredients that go into a recipe that will win an Oscar. All of the other films that were in the same category had more of those ingredients than his performance did in his film. So maybe you should be very sincere again, the same way that you don't want to recognize that you have a part inside of you where the slap and the bad behavior came from, because we all have the ugly part inside of us, the bad. Maybe you should also be admitting the fact that you did not deserve the Oscar, and you should say, I think you have made a mistake. What would happen if you said that? Why isn't anybody talking about that? Why isn't anyone talking about the fact that he didn't deserve the Oscar? Why?
Tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. You know, it happened on Questlove's award, and you know, it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed?
If that was not sufficient, I'm sorry, isn't sufficient, what is sufficient? Why not go all the way and do it sufficiently? Why stop? if you know it's not sufficient? What else are you supposed to do? Maybe you're supposed to take a step back and say to all these people who came up with this horrible way for you to apologize, leave me alone. People giving you this setup, thinking that it was going to be the best version. Stand up as a man and say, I don't need any preparation. I'm going to search within myself for that side of me that the slap came out of, and I'm going to speak to it. I'm going to speak to it. And that's going to be my apology. To everybody who was watching, or to all the people that were there, they were so conditioned. They're so conditioned to be applauding the movie star Will Smith, because he brought so much money to his films until now, and because they also are making tons of money making all these films. So they were applauding you when you received the Oscar instead of them just sitting down. How could they even instinctually, physically, psychologically, emotionally get up from their seats or just applaud in the way that they did to allow you to do the speech for the Oscar that you didn't deserve after you've slapped another man, a comedian, a wonderful comedian? Why don't you come up with something that's sufficient and then do the apology? Because this is a ridiculous joke of an apology.
Who expressed that you let them down. So there's two things. One,
politically
disappointing
correct,
people is
political
my
correct.
central trauma. I hate when I let people down.
Enunciating again.
So
the only time that he wasn't enunciating and overly enunciating was when he was talking about Jada. When he says, no, it wasn't Jada. No, I'm sorry, babe. No, it wasn't. Everything else that has nothing to do with her, he switches his entire comportment when he talks about her. And then when he goes to answer these questions that I'm sure, again, that he's known them for a long time, he's got to think about it. And then he goes back to enunciating. He's almost trying to keep himself on the straight line, on the straight path, on the right path, so he doesn't let himself explode in the moment again, or say something that's going to be damaging for himself to his audience members.
It hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself.
Oh my God.
Right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and
shame comes with that. You can't just
I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit. So I would.
You can't be trying to be humble or whatever you said without being ashamed. You have to be ashamed. You have to sit in the shame for a while in order to then get out of it. You cannot overstep something. You have to grieve it. You have to be in it to feel like shit before you can come out of the shit, so you can understand the difference. You're still making overlaps. Now I'm doing what you're doing. You're still doing it in a way that you're not accepting responsibility. You're not taking the full responsibility. You're finding all these other reasons to put yourself in the whole humanity group to say that we're all bad. I can say about myself that I'm bad, but don't put me in the same group with you, because when you talk about humanity, you're a human being, you make mistakes, you're a person, blah, 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 blah. You're still putting all the blame on all of us. Take it for yourself. Take the blame onto yourself with the shame, with everything else that comes for a while. If you would have had the time to prepare that you say you had the time to prepare, if you really worked on yourself the way that you're telling us that you wanted to work on yourself, your apology would have been completely different. So your words make no sense to the behavior. It doesn't make any sense. In theory, you're saying the right things, but even in theory, the things that you're saying don't make sense because you're escaping. You're escaping that which you did. Escaping, involving other people, so you diminish the problem that you made.
it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, you know,
Great. Do that.
If you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
That smirk at the end, what is there to say? I mean, I think I've said everything. I mean, what is there to say? Everything is just words. Even the words do not make sense in the context in which he wanted to say that he was sorry and he was humble. He's not even admitting to what he did. He's admitting for 1 second, and then the second he says completely the opposite. How? Yeah, that's all I gotta say for now. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about the noise and everything else. I happen to be in a beautiful village in Greece. It's so gorgeous. But thank you so much, everyone. Kisses. That's it. Will Smith, please. Ah, yeah.